Good evening and welcome to one and all present here. Myself Trupti Parekh, your host for today. Switch India is a pan-India healthcare organization of 1500 plus medical professionals all across 8 states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan and Karnataka, working on various healthcare related social activities including conducting free health checkup camps, working on physical and mental health, spreading awareness on various medical conditions and so forth. Through Switch India, we present to you the series of sessions called Stepping Out of PT School and Answer to What After Graduation for all the physiotherapists to be in order to explore and know more about the latest options available in your field from the ones who are practicing them currently. The topics of the series are divided into 4 sections for 4 weeks. In the first week, we had our speakers guiding us on how one can be able to pursue their further studies in foreign countries like UK, Canada, Australia, and US, as well as the options that will be available for jobs in that country or in India. Have you decided what's going to be your specialization field for PG? While studying for my final year, I've always wondered which field should I pursue my master's in. Musculoskeletal and community PT are interesting, so are cardio, ISP, and neuro. Oncophysiotherapy was totally new for me. Don't you face a similar problem? In the second week of our series, we had guidance from our presenters about the scope and recent options available for specialization in various fields post UG. In case y'all have missed any of these sessions, then you may check our videos uploaded on our channel. Once we are done with the studies, begins the actual exam. So, have you decided which work setup could be the best for you? Do you think working in a hospital would be good, or do you wish to set up your own clinic? Many of y'all could be great researchers, and many can become amazing teachers. In order to clarify our doubt on all these conditions, we have the third week of our sessions in which our speakers having an experience of working in those fields will guide us regarding the advantages and challenges that we could face in each one of them. The fourth week is all about the scope and current scenario of physiotherapy in today's world and how, because of COVID-19, the situation has changed in general and how the tele rehab is nowadays growing well. We hope these sessions will be very useful for each one of you. Proceeding further with our third section of job options for physiotherapists, we present our next talk for this week on career in research. I request all the participants to keep putting your questions in the live chat option below and let us know your views in the comment section. Your questions will be addressed to towards the end of the session. I'd like to welcome our honorable speaker for today, Dr. Apurva Shimpi. Dr. Apurva Shimpi currently works as a professor and head of Community Department of Physiotherapy at Sanctity College of Physiotherapy, Pune. He is the chairman of Indian Association of Physiotherapists, Research Committee West Zone. Dr. Shimpi is pursuing PhD in physiotherapy at GSMC and KEM Hospital, Mumbai under Maharashtra University of Health Sciences MUHS Nashik. He has undertaken the ICF Facilitator course by Dutch Collaborating Center of WHO Family of International Classifications in August 2020 and has done his fellowship in Louisville Combined Service Orthopedic Surgery and Physiotherapy from Spalding University, Louisville, Kentucky, USA in November 2015. He also done a professional course in fitness training in gymnasium and aerobics from Sarvakar Fitness Academy, Mumbai in 2001. Apurva sir was a winner of Innovation Award by Nehru Center, Mumbai. He was awarded the Best Teacher and Excellence in Performance by Sanctity College of Physiotherapy. He is an author of the Shimpi test for SI joint dysfunction, copyrighted by publication in Hong Kong Physiotherapy Journal. He is an editor-in-chief of Journal of Evidence-Based Physiotherapy and Research, editorial board member, Journal of Medical Thesis, and Journal of Orthopedics and Rehabilitation, reviewer of European Journal of Physiotherapy, International Journal of Highways and Integrated Medicine, Journal of Orthopedics and Traumatology. For scientific paper presentation, received prize in IFE Conference Jaipur 2004 and Goa 2013. First prize in Inter-University Research Competition Maharashtra 2012 and Mumbai 2020. Prizes in Intram MUHS Research Competition Maharashtra Teachers Category 2011, 12, 13, 19. Second prize at State Level Health Science Education and Knowledge Research Competition from MUHS. First prize at the National Level Innovation Competition from Nehru Science Center, Mumbai 2020, and the list still goes on. He has more than 25 publications peer-reviewed in-depth journals, including 8 publications in PubMed with more than 90 citations. Welcome to our channel, sir. So beginning with today's session, we'd like to hear your story, what interests you to work in this field of research.
Thank you so much, Trupti, for the kind introduction. Uh, what exactly are you looking for? What exactly would you like to know?
So in our students aspiring to become researchers, they have to choose a particular topic.
Trupti, I guess I'm having a bit of issue with the network. Can you please repeat it?
Yes, sir. So I was asking, what was your story of why did you choose to be a researcher in practice?
Okay. Well, to be very honest, I never liked research. I mean, as an undergraduate, we were never exposed to the domain of research in physiotherapy practice. My bachelor's is from Mumbai University, and unlike today in the MUHS in Maharashtra or other universities, research was never the prime domain. So, to be honest, in the undergraduation, we were never ever exposed to the concepts of research. In our post graduation, research was introduced for us for the first time, where we had to do our thesis, and honestly, it was a bit of a painful task because not knowing or not understanding what you're supposed to do, what are the basics of it, how you're supposed to be prepared, and everything. It was kind of a big challenge. And I feel that by the time I finished my postgraduate dissertation, I really did not like research at all. But somewhere down the line, in professional life, you need to go for publications. You want to have some understanding or some component on research. So once I had to guide my postgraduates, that was the time when I started understanding, to be very honest, what research is. And once we started looking into the domain of research, it's something like, to be very honest, a nasha. Once you start research, you start realizing the fun in it. So from not understanding or not knowing research, not understanding statistics, thinking कि ये मेरा काम नहीं है, people will do it. Why should I sit and do this? To the factor कि इतना मजा आने लगता है once you start doing it. Okay, so the story is not really so dramatic or so, but yes, from honestly, from hating research to really loving it was a huge trend. And of course, there were failures. It's never that whatever you do, everything is successful. All your researches are published. If I say more than 25 publications, I must say more than 75 researches, and hardly 30% success. So it is a task by itself. That's all I can say for now.
That's really inspiring, sir. So, sir, also I'd like to know that what would be the eligibility of a student to start working as a researcher?
If we are talking in terms of physiotherapy, I really don't feel that there is any component of eligibility. I honestly feel even at a first year level in your bachelor's, you can be a researcher. For example, we have had few of our students who have done researches and presented their research topics in university level competitions also. See, it's generally a misconcept in everybody ki to become a researcher, you have to be too smart and too intelligent and brilliant. See, ऐसा नहीं है. To become a researcher, what is very important is determination and hard work, because it automatically follows, because research is all about a system. And second thing is, when you say ki how can we think of topics, because many of us do not think of topics, that is what the first step is. I would say first start asking questions. What happens in our regular college life is, as I always keep on telling to my own students also, that don't take everything on face value. Okay, start asking questions, and start asking questions in routine clinical observations. For example, one modality versus other modality, one technique of mobilization versus other technique. Why this is better? What is wrong with it? What is better in it? So once we start asking questions, our mind starts thinking rationally and analyzes things. So the basis of doing research is starting asking questions. And uske liye I honestly feel there is no eligibility. Anybody can. I'm very sure the big scientists in the world were not PhD holders. Rather, because they started thinking and questioning, rationalizing, that's why they became bigger scientists. So yes, you can do research even at your first year of your undergraduation. Post graduation में तो compulsory option ही नहीं होता है. So honestly, there is no eligibility. Anybody can become a researcher. Trupti.
Yes, sir. So, what kind of background knowledge or actual skills should a person be having in order to become a researcher?
As I said, first and foremost is start questioning and start analyzing a lot of things. Yes, to become a researcher, you need to have understanding of basics of research methodology. Now, when I say basics of research methodology, is something very simple. For example, what type of study are you doing? Whether it is an observational type of study or an experimental type of study. Observation means, are you seeing something happening? Or experimental is, are you doing some interventions to see something happening? So these are the basic components. So if you are interested in becoming a researcher at a college level, it is mandatory to have a good understanding of research procedure or research methodology. In our university, it is mandatory that each postgraduate does a basic workshop on research methodology. If you are talking research from a professional point of view, for example, you want to enter the domain of research as a career option, yes, there are certain professional courses which are somewhere around 5 to 6 months also, which actually goes into details on what research processes, research procedures, job opportunities, avenues, all these factors are. There are many research oriented companies who research training companies which actually offers courses like this. So I feel that their understanding the concept of research methodology is more important. So that is what is the basic component, I would say.
Sure, sir. Sir, so what kind of pay scale or working hours do we have in working as a researcher?
Okay, now this is a kind of a tricky one. See, there are two things to it. When you talk in terms of gains, gains can be two ways. One is a monetary gain, second is a recognition or fame gain. Uh, I understand that all of us need to earn, and first and foremost, the question in everybody's mind would be, how much do we earn? How much do we earn as a clinician? How much do we earn as a researcher? Unfortunately, research as a career option is not highlighted much in our professional practice. We still feel that, which may be not wrong, that clinical domain or academic domain is more important. And generally, research is taken as a side subsect, a part of it, a part of a promotion चाहिए तो research करना पड़ेगा, PG degree चाहिए तो research करना पड़ेगा. But as I said, many companies or many institutes, many universities are hiring physiotherapists as research associates. And the payment goes in terms of either a percent basis of the funding, because for your kind information, many institutes offers good amount of funding for the research. Okay, and when I say good fundings, average funding would be around 4 5 to 10 lakhs, to some good grants like DBT grant, DST grants, which can go up to 4 to 5 crores. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not just how much salary you are getting, it's what sort of funding you are able to procure. And from that, how are you able? Because as a researcher, of course, paid bhi bharna hai. So when you are going for such huge amount of grants, some amount of the payment does come as your salary domain. In fact, you as a physiotherapist can employ co-researchers. Many of the co-researchers are employing physiotherapists, for example, for field tasks, data tasks also. Many, as I said earlier, many universities are employing physiotherapists. And again, the thing is not necessary it's a physiotherapy research. It might be an Ayurvedic research, it might be an allopathic research, it might be any other, it might be home science based research where perspectives like a qualitative based study is being done. So options for being a researcher is good. I understand that we all need to know in terms of money. मतलब exactly बड़बड़ मत करो कितना exactly मिलेगा बोलो 20,000 50,000. So it's very difficult. It's not a job. So it's very difficult to tell you the space scales and the salary scales कि इतना ही पैसा है या नहीं है. If you are good, if you are determined, if you are hard work, there is no end to what you can earn in this. Okay, but please understand, being researcher is not a business. So when you're doing research, you're not doing business. So you cannot expect a profit and loss statements and a balance sheet. But yes, you will earn enough to earn a livelihood. In fact, many universities abroad are offering research associates or research fellowships where you get a very good stipend, a stipend where you can run your entire family. Okay, so you do get good scopes. In India, we are picking up, but yeah, it's coming up very nicely and very soon.
That was really amazing, sir. So, sir, what kind of job role as a researcher do we pursue? Like, what kind of work sector or work setup do we have to work into?
Okay. Unlike a very typical clinical setup where we are kind of exposed to, research can be in multiple domains. As we said earlier, there are times where physiotherapists have been recruited for larger, like for example, I am aware of a few projects going on in Pune University where they are actually looking for research fellows or research associates who are physiotherapists. So the tasks can be field surveys, routine analysis of particular field tests that we as physiotherapists do. When I'm saying field surveys, I'm not saying ghar ghar jaake asking questions like census ka. It's not that way. Field surveys are actually related to components that public health surveys, which a medical practitioner or a physiotherapist can do in a very good manner. Then there are courses on professional research fellowships or so, and are working as research associates or research fellows in certain companies, including pharmaceutical industries. Again, pharmaceutical industry का मतलब ये नहीं है कि you are into medicine production, but controlling the research standards, uh, the drug trials, blinding processes, statistical analysis, all these domains are also part of it. So, and third can be just for example, for us, routine clinical trials. Like in medicine, drug trials hote hain, वैसे routine clinical trials. But clinical trials are not a very big base as of now in India, but it is a base in some countries, some Western countries where they actually are conducting researches, and that's how we get good publications and books that we get to learn why this particular modality is better, why this manual therapy procedure is better, or why this neuro approach is better. Is finally because there are good field trials that are, or good multicentric studies that are coming. So for a researcher in physiotherapy, your field can be a hospital, a clinical setup, a research lab, a biomechanics or motion analysis lab, a pharmaceutical industry, a community-based survey that is in the field, in the in the outside in the community. So it can be multiple domains for you.
Yes, sir. That was really informative. So, sir, we'd also like to know that what are the pros and cons of working as a researcher in this field?
Okay. So when you're talking of work pros and cons, uh, let's talk about the advantages first. One of the biggest advantages is good recognition. As a researcher, you tend to be famous. You are recognized by people. See, these days your identity is not necessarily only with qualifications. Okay, so you're a bachelor's in physiotherapy, so you're a master's in physiotherapy. Fine. How many publications do you have? And people are identified by their number of publications. Like I'm proud to say I have 25 plus publications. I have my mentor who has 150 plus publications. So and see, that makes a difference. Okay, I am masters in physiotherapy, he is masters in physiotherapy. Okay, but the very fact that I'm telling you he has 150 plus publications instantly makes you kya insaan hai yaar, wow. Okay, so this recognition, this branding, and where this is important is you are, for example, called as a resource faculty in multiple conferences. You become an authority on certain fields and certain subjects. So one very important is brand recognition. You are the brand ambassador of your profession. That is one very good factor. Second thing is ability to analyze a lot of things, because in clinical practice we learn a lot of things in our textbooks ki, especially at a graduate level, ये condition को ये treatment है, वो condition को वो treatment है. When you do a post graduation, especially if you have a research mind, you start analyzing. In fact, I would say a good clinician has to be a very good researcher, because we all must have I'm sure many of you must have seen the CID serial. टीवी पे जो आता था, दे गो ऑन एनालाइजिंग, अच्छा ये खून किसने किया होगा, ये क्या हुआ होगा. So this is an analytical form of thinking. In research, you require an analytical form of thinking. Why is this particular modality? Is this dosage better? Because see, till today in our profession, we are not aware that tennis elbow के लिए continuous देना है या pulse देना है, 0.2 देना है या 0.5 देना है, 1.5 देना है, ultrasound dosage. अच्छा, ultrasound देना है कि laser देना है? And then we'll end up telling in our exams we can give TENS, we can give IFT, we can give ultrasound. We never land up telling the dosage. Okay, and we want to be called practitioners, doctors, without being specific to what sort of component. So what is the best advantage of being a researcher? And when I'm saying being a researcher, I am also would like to say having a research based mind. So you become more accurate in your treatment concepts. You become specific in your outcomes. Of course, that gives you good results with your patients. So the concept हम जो बोलते हैं evidence based physiotherapy. Evidence based physiotherapy का मतलब ये नहीं होता that you have to just read researches and articles and talk out of it. Your experience and understanding of the condition and the patient situation. What are the evidences that are pointing towards the best outcomes in the treatment and the patient's need and requirements. And I'm very sure 99% of us do not read articles or evidences. Again, I'm not talking from a graduation point of view, I'm talking of a clinician or a postgraduate point of view. We want to treat from textbooks which are published 5 years back, having researches which are 10 and 15 years older. We are never updated. Instead, if you read recent advances, recent trends through good quality journals and stuff, I think it can put you better. So it makes you a good clinician, it makes you a good academician, it makes you a good researcher. This is a second advantage. Okay, disadvantages agar bola to, yes, first and foremost, as we say, payments is a huge challenge. Because if you hit a good grant, yes, what if you don't? What if nothing works out for you? So that fear always remains. Certain thing is that bad aura that is created around research ki research matlab बाप रे बहुत पंगा है, बहुत difficult है, मेरे बस की बात नहीं है. It's nothing of that sort. Research is something which anybody of us can do. It just, as I said earlier also, takes a bit of determination and hard work, and we are a bit scared about doing that hard work. That's the only disadvantage. Rest, I feel there is no other disadvantage in research. One is that financial unsurety, not insecurity, unsurety at times. And second thing is that willingness to have everything easy and fast. Hard work और मेहनत का जरा सा, अगर ये दो आपके पास phobias नहीं है तो yes, you can do anything what you want. So there is no other disadvantage in research. Trupti.
Yes, sir. So as you said, hard work and मेहनत करने से we can reach to any peak that we want. So, sir, with hard work also comes challenges. So, we like to know what kind of challenges can we expect and how do we face them? Like, how do we overcome them in research?
Okay. Yeah, actually, that's a very nice question. I would say if you are planned and prepared, there are no challenges, to be very honest. I had one of my teachers during my post graduation from the PSM department. His statement I can never forget. He said, your research should be ready before you even start it. I mean, whatever you are going to do, your entire procedure, planning, implementation, concepts, and ideas should be planned, worked out, and chalked out before you actually start your implementation. So the biggest challenge is having that foresight, which is okay. See, पहले दिन आके if you decide I want to drive a car, day one you are never going to learn it. पहले तो सीखना पड़ता है एक्सेलरेटर ब्रेक क्लच ये वो then driving then traffic and also research is same way. Day one में nobody can become first article में you cannot become a research scholar. It takes time, it takes persistence, it takes failures to learn research in a better way. So the challenges, one of the challenges, you need to learn to accept failure, and I think that teaches you a lot about how to have a very good life also and how to accept failures also. So accepting failures. Second thing is planning very much in advance, including each and every step that you are going to do. And third is having a very good foresight. This foresight will come over a period of time. Once you start getting your first publication, I mean, the happiness that you will get is as जैसा डिग्री मिला जितना खुशी हुआ था same happiness you'll get when you get your first publication. That helps you get a foresight. Okay, ये करना था. Okay, this was what I was supposed to do. So these three things are, I think, the only hitches or challenges. Once you get adapted to this, maybe one challenge that we face still is lack of fundings or cost. Most of the researchers come out of our pocket still. But again, if you are a researcher with a good background, that is, if you have certain specific publications in 3, 4 articles over a period of time, I think funding does not become a problem. In fact, many universities themselves, like our university, Maharashtra University of Health Sciences, also offers a research grant of 25,000 to undergraduate programs, 1 lakh to teachers. And as I said, then the things goes on. There are Ayush gives 4 lakhs, DBT gives 4 crores. So then fundings is never a challenge. But yes, initially that is the only other component, or else there are no other challenges for research.
Yes, sir, that was very helpful. So, sir, before we move on to the questions from our audience, we'd like to know if you have any experience for us to share.
Uh, One of the experiences that I would like to share with you, as you were very kind in introducing me about the Shimpi's test for the SI joint, that again came out of very routine clinical observations. We used to see a lot of patients with SI joint dysfunctions, so-called SI joint dysfunctions, being done doing the stock test or the March test, and बहुत doubt आता था कि why is this hip getting lifted up? What is going wrong? Biomechanically क्या हो सकता है? So all this came as a very simple observation. We started this work in somewhere around 2011 and did the study, completed, submitted for publication in 2017-18. And getting a clinical test named after you, getting recognized, and when you actually see physio tutorials and some other researchers quoting your own study or something, that feeling gives you a, I can't express this. It can give you a very good kick when people actually quote you, and the best part is when there are foreign authors also who are talking of back pain and everything, and when they're quoting, and this test was done by the Shimpis, as I tell you, like, that's me. So research can give you that advice, and this is not just, I'm just giving one example. Like for example, one of our study was on modification of Surya Namaskar to by using a chair or something. So when people search for a scientific evidences, yes, that's where you are. So I feel we should try and think of routine things. Nothing what we did was out of the box. We were not Einsteins or Galileos or Newtons. We all, when we, I say me, my colleagues and all, we are simple people who just looked at simple things, questioned simple problems, and came up with some solutions, of course with very good guidance and mentorship from a lot of seniors and colleagues. So again, I would like to say that it's not very difficult to do any studies or so. Just do anything whatever you like, and research can come in routine things in daily life.
Sure, sir. So I believe researchers are people who look at things differently. So now we'll go on to the questions from our audience in the live chat options.
Okay, so yeah, good to see you guys too. Vidhi, you have a question. Vidhi Dave, is there distant learning in for PhD in India? If yes, where and how do we find a guide? Essentially, as per the latest UGC norms, your guide has to be associated with the university. There is no distance learning. There is something called as full-time PhD or part-time PhD. When you say part-time PhD, you have to have intermittent contact hours with your guide. But one of the prerequisite for that is you have to be in academic service or a research service already somewhere. Only then, or maybe third is government service. Only then you can do a part-time PhD, or else you are supposed to be a full-time PhD scholar. And what I have understood is being a full-time PhD scholar is more better than a part-time, because you are there with your guide, you can do a lot of things together. Distance learning for PhD is a no-no. It is a, you are totally disconnected with your guide. You have no clue whether you are doing right or wrong, and your guide cannot supervise your field. Means whatever you are doing, आपका data collection सही है, बराबर, गलत, क्या हो रहा है, it is very difficult or very challenging. So I personally feel either a full-time close contact. If you are into service, and I understand it's difficult to leave your job, and if, for example, I am pursuing I would say a part-time PhD as per university norms, where we as a faculty are allowed to do in service PhDs where our guide is. But let me tell you, it is challenging. I realize how much my guide at times gets, why does this guy not do anything? And I'm really sorry. I would like to apologize to my guide. She's one of the sweetest person, but it is a big challenge. Okay, Vinit Gada is asking, what are the research options after MPT in India? If you are talking in terms of doing PhD, yes, you can do PhD. Why do we need to do PhD? Again, if you are wanting to enter into academics, or even if you want to become a clinician, there's no hard and fast rule that MPT and PhD is only for academicians or so. For example, there are very good clinicians like Richardson et al., who we all look at the core testing. Core test के लिए sphygmomanometer under the spine and prone, supine, 70 mm and all this. ये जो हम बात करते हैं, this was proposed by Richardson, who is a clinician, who is not an academician. Of course, with his experience and everything, he is on panel on certain universities. So clinicians are, I again still say clinicians can be the best researchers. If you are talking of doing independent researches, this is in connection with the question of, I'm sorry, the name is TP, how to conduct independent researches without having associated. So if you are looking after MPT or after bachelor's, independent researches can be done, but having an association with an institute is because of two reasons. First is because you require an ethical approval. Of course, again, let me be clear that there are independent ethical committees also, but for any research, you require ethical approval, which can be more better in an institute. Second is infrastructural provisions are better in an institute. Okay, if you have your own clinic and you have a registered practice and everything, you can do as an associated with your own clinic. You need not be associated with a hospital or institute. Your own clinic can be a center for research also. That's okay. Then you can take approval from a independent ethical committee. Sources of funding are immense. If I can take a huge lecture on this about the various sources of funding, and if you want to hear the boss, I can recommend the boss there, my teacher, Dr. Renu Bharadwaj ma'am, who is much more knowledgeable in this field. Well, there are many government, non-government agencies, private bodies. There are multiple NGOs who have a lot of scope. I mean, the list is immense. Okay, so you can do this after PhD. I'm sorry, after masters also, or after bachelor's also if you have a research background. But after bachelor's, it is recommended that you do at least a course in research methodology, which is generally taken care of in masters. Okay. Again, can a research done a few years back still be published? Um, it's like eating stale bread. I mean, you can still eat a stale bread, but it's a stale bread. Okay. So if you want to do research, if you want to publish research done a few years back, the data would not be a problem, because the problem that cannot, like for example, manual therapy A versus manual therapy B after 5 years would also more or less remain the same. But you have to add recent evidences, and you have to really see that after 5 years whether that problem has been answered or no. Because 5 years back it was a problem, 3 years back maybe somebody has answered that problem, and now you are again trying to answer the same thing. So it is recommended that you do a background review of literature again, add more recent evidences and datas, if possible add new data. The problem can be very good, the question can be very good, add new data, and then yes, you can go on publishing it. But the recommended fact is always newer data and newer evidences need to be backed up, looking for that the problem is still a problem and it's not been answered. Okay, with Dr. Vinit Gada, you're again asking, how can one clinician connect to an institute to conduct research? Are there any institutes offering opportunities to clinicians? Yes, very important. You can easily. Somebody from that institute has to be a research partner. So let's say you are a clinician, I am an academician, you want to do XYZ study, we do a collaborative project. So you have to have something called as an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding. Okay. And because many institutes require, the NACA requirement is that you have to have MOUs with different institutes. Trust me, many institutes will be ready to be associated, provided your reputation of research is good. You have to have a research background. It's not that ये मेरे life का पहला research है and I want to get associated with XYZ institute. Sorry boss, nobody is interested. हाँ, आपका research option क्या है? You have to send your biodata. Okay, I have 15 publications, I have 3 publications on PubMed, this is my topic of interest, this is what I've already worked out. Yes, then some institute will be ready to be associated with you. In fact, they would be more than happy to fund you also. There are institutes which have happened, and I am very happy to share a very good example that we have a very good project being going on with one of a very very reputed institute in Mumbai. So Pune ka hamara institute with that, so we had an inter institutional affiliation where I as a researcher got 4 lakh ka funding. Okay, so yes, people do, but you have to be proving your worth and you have to complete your task, which I am still, I accept on public forum, I'm still on it, I have not finished with it. So you have to finish things on time. uh, are there any such institutes offering opportunities to the clinician, or which institutes may we may work within Mumbai? This is Nehakshama. Yeah, there are many. There are, as I said, many private or even government institutes would be ready, provided you are doing research in their field of domain. XYZ pediatric center or pediatric institute would be very happy to be associated with you, provided you are, again, if you have a research background and you are doing good research in pediatric factor, like you are a clinician having a lot of pediatric input of patients and so, and you want to say okay, वाडिया इंस्टीट्यूट है, मुझे उनके साथ रिसर्च करना है, Hafkin है, and I want to do something on physiotherapy post cancer, or sorry, physiotherapy post snake bites, or you want to be associated with Tata Memorial for oncology, just the last time आपका हुआ था. So institutes would be more than happy to be associated with you, provided you have a research background, you have a very solid topic which you can always work out with your team and go for it. Okay, and especially for ethical approvement, again, Neha Kshama, yeah, any institute which is recognized as per DCGI guidelines have their own ethical committee, and you will be given, once you are associating with that, it is mandatory for you to get approval from that institute, the institutional ethical committee. So you may approach any, the one of the best is in KEM Mumbai. They have a very excellent ethical committee. MGM University has a very good ethical committee. It's a very nice institute. I can name many. I'm not being biased towards one or two. It's just jo but say I can remember or recollect, I can tell you in Mumbai. But there are many, multiple ones. There are good ones that can get you. Uh, yeah, I seem to be out of questions. Anything else that you would like to ask?
No, sir, I think you've explained everything very well, and I think you've also answered all the questions in the live chat as well.
Uh,
So we will just wait for a few more seconds for the participants to put on any questions
Till
if
that time,
they.
I'll just like to add, in case any of you is interested, I have a publication in Journal of Medical Thesis under the topic of physiotherapy thesis, challenges, common fallacies, and means to overcome them. This is 2016, Jan to April, volume 4, issue 1. You can Google for it, and this will give you a basic background. This is especially for the new masters and the graduates, maybe the fourth years, on how to choose your topic, research question, and everything. So I recommend that you read this article, Journal of Medical Thesis, volume 4, issue 1, 2016. So that would give you certain basic background on what you are supposed to be preparing for a physiotherapy research. Okay, rest, the field is immense.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for such an insightful session. And this will definitely guide us through our journey to pursue research as a profession in physiotherapy. Thank you to our promotional partners, All About Physiotherapy, to help us spread a word about this series. Thank you to all the participants who were so interactive, and hope you all will have a clearer idea on how to plan your future as a researcher in after physiotherapy. So do let us know your reviews and feedbacks in the comment section. And in case your questions are not yet answered or you have any more doubts, you can let us know in the comment section below. We'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, if you found this session useful, then do like our video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click on that bell icon below for regular updates and for many more sessions to come. See you all again tomorrow, where our presenter will guide us on how is it to choose setting up your own clinic after becoming a physiotherapist, which will be live on 22nd November 2020, same time 7:30 p.m. This was your host for today, Trupti Parekh, signing off. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Trupti. Thank you, Switch India.
Thank you, sir.